Following is paid for by the People's National Party.
My fellow Jamaicans, good evening. On Thursday, we will be going to the polls to elect a government for the next 5 years. The choice we make will determine the development of the country and will decide Jamaica's future for generations. For this reason, it is a moment for sober reflection. The record is clear. No one can deny the fact that in 2011, when the JLP administration was voted out of office, they had presided over 11 consecutive quarters of negative growth and almost doubled the country's debt. The economy was close to the brink of bankruptcy. Jamaica no longer had access to the international capital markets and faced the risk of prohibitive interest rates on the local market. No one can deny the proud record of this administration in restoring economic stability and Jamaica's credibility both locally and internationally. It is also a matter of record that in our first 16 months in office, we were successful in gaining the support of a wide cross-section of stakeholders, which included public sector workers, bondholders, pensioners, taxpayers, as well as our three primary lenders, that is to say, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Inter-American Development Bank. Against the background of our economic reform program, we have been able to achieve low inflation, lower interest rates, increased job creation, a sustainable balance of payments, and growing international reserves. We have also maintained balanced budgets and ensured a reduction in public debt as measured by the debt to GDP ratio. In addition, we have broadened the tax base and lowered the GCT rate and effective corporate tax rates in an equitable and fair manner, which has resulted in increased tax compliance and a much improved and more efficient system of tax collection and administration. The threshold for personal income tax, that is, the tax-free portion of each person's pay, has been increased 3 times in the last 4 years, relieving thousands of Jamaicans from any obligation to pay taxes. We propose to continue increasing the threshold, but we will do so in a manner that does not wreck the hard-earned economic and financial stability of the country as others are proposing to do. All indicators point to the fact that this administration, led by Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller, has returned the economy to growth and given the Jamaican people hope and confidence in the future. The plans and programs we have put forward to be implemented during our next term of office are all based on a realistic assessment of economic growth, fueled by both foreign and local investments, which are today increasing at near record levels. Economic growth, as our manifesto shows, rests on continued fiscal prudence. However, despite the restraint, we will continue to construct highways, including a new South Coast Highway. We will construct integrated resort development in the tourism sector and expand our logistics and port operations as well as the special economic zones. There are new investments already identified, which will result in a minimum, and I emphasize minimum, of 100,000 jobs over the next 5 years. These jobs will come from tourism, business process outsourcing, agriculture, construction, manufacturing, and other sectors, as well as from medium, small, and micro enterprises. A new PNP administration also commits to reducing the personal income tax rate for individuals, unifying the rates of corporate income tax for various corporate entities, reducing further the GCT rate while continuing to protect certain items which are essential to meeting the needs of the most vulnerable sections of the population. We will also further reduce the customs rates on consumer goods. The acceleration of our energy diversification program will result in cheaper energy and electricity costs, thus enabling the manufacturing sector to become an even more significant source of employment. In the next term, we are committed to a new deal for agriculture aimed at modernizing our agricultural sector and improving the levels of productivity in the sector. Already, over the past couple of years, we have reduced our food import bill by some $5 billion. We intend to continue reducing our food import bill and to integrate domestic agriculture with our tourism product and our school feeding program. We will also create more agri-parks by unlocking the land reserves owned by government and placing them in productive hands in a transparent fashion. We will also be installing irrigation systems in the critical food-producing regions of the country. This requirement for economic progress demands that we put our farmers in a better position to meet the food needs of the Jamaican people. In addition, as I had announced in my budget presentation last year, the interest rates on student loans from the Students' Loan Bureau will be reduced effective April 1st to be calculated on the reducing balance method, which will lower the cost of student loans for all applicants. We have already introduced easier requirements for guarantors in the student loan system and recapitalized the Students' Loan Bureau to provide better access to financing. We recognize that while major investments are necessary, sustained levels of economic growth require as well the expansion of the medium, small enterprise sector. Our next administration will be expanding the resources available to the MSME sector and enacting legislation to institutionalize venture capital funding, which will allow young Jamaicans with good business ideas to access financial support. Every administration of the People's National Party has as a central commitment the protection of the poor and vulnerable in our country. And we are committed to continue doing this. Over the past 4 years, this administration has increased PATH payments to beneficiaries by 30% and to the elderly by more than 66%. We have also increased the pension benefits received by government pensioners, as well as increased the national minimum wage 3 times in the last 4 years. The next administration will maintain this commitment by increasing the benefits for pensioners, as well as further refining the PATH program, and make more provision for more people to graduate from PATH to secure employment. We want to move people from welfare to work. Our covenant with the Jamaican people for the next term is based on our commitment to the following 5 principles. First, the maintenance of a balanced budget and continuing the work to balance the books while balancing people's lives. Second, the maintenance of low inflation and price stability. Third, a social safety net to protect the most needy and vulnerable in the society, including the elderly and children. Fourth, we will continue to improve the business and investment climate so that we will attract even greater levels of investment needed to provide more jobs. Fifth, the People's National Party is committed to the maintenance of national partnerships with all elements of society, as demonstrated with the Partnership for Jamaica and the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC. Our covenant also includes a code of conduct for members of parliament and the political directorate. The rock-solid integrity of our national leadership must be the underpinning foundation for the social consensus and trust which is essential to the better Jamaica we seek. Our program is credible, achievable, and growth-oriented. It is a blueprint that has a place for all of us. It provides vision with realistic hope that we can build a healthy, knowledgeable, orderly, disciplined, and participatory society united with a single purpose of ensuring that Jamaica is the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Now is not the time to dismantle the foundation that has been carefully built at great sacrifice. Jamaica cannot afford to adopt ill-conceived and expensive promises. I have every confidence that the Jamaican people will vote for this administration to continue the work it is doing. We have established a strong record of performance. It is now time to step up the progress. This Thursday, February 25th, I urge all of you to cast your vote to keep Jamaica moving forward, to step up the progress, building on the solid foundations that have been laid under the leadership of Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her team. On Thursday, vote early and vote PNP. Thank you and good night.
Step up the progress. Secure a better Jamaica. Put your X beside the head. Vote PNP.
The proceeding was paid for by